So after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are no longer teenagers, what do they call themselves? Adult Mutant Ninja Turtles? Just Ninja Turtles? Aliens surely gonna be a gloriously terrible movie Turtles? Nah, instead of all that, Splinter just decides he'll just completely retrain them in karate and they become the Karate Turtles Warriors. Seemed like a good idea at the time. So who knew? If the Turtles had just studied karate from the get-go, they would have been allowed more clothing than just a belt. But in all seriousness, I gotta say, I actually really dig the kimonoed Turtles look. Now, unfortunately, I only have one of the Turtles from the set, but the back of the package shows us what all the Turtles like in their colored kimonos. And if you hate color, well, don't worry, Karate Turtles Warriors has got you covered. There's an alternate release with a kind of plainy beige kimono. And like I said in the Turtles Fighters video, a lot of these bootlegs like to copy the brick thing going on from the official Playmates packaging, because bricks means real. Really bricked! And I'm sure none of you noticed yet, but it almost looks like the Karate Turtles Warriors have almost exactly copied the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. Weird! And one of the other things I can tell you about the Karate Turtles Warriors without even taking them out of the package is they are extremely light. Like, when I got this Splinter in the mail, I was like, what, did they trick me and send me an empty package? But after doing some research, I discovered they didn't, apparently. Aw, shit, I'm not old enough to play with these. So a lot of bootlegs will admit this, but Karate Turtles Warriors is one of those bootlegs that's nice enough to let you know how old you need to be to play with the knockoff. Which apparently you need to be 1 year older than to play with the official guys. Alright. I also like that these guys have an item number like the official figures. I'd love to know if there's actually a point to these for the bootleggers. Because, you know, even if these bootleggers made some other series as well, I somehow doubt they ever got to 13,200 different toys. But, you know, I'm sure it was really useful for no company name to know what item number this was. Oh wait, I'm sure it was useful for Made in China to know what item number this was. And you know, I absolutely love that the Splinter item number is just a sticker over the same number the Leonardo has. You know, it never matters to me since I'm gonna open them for the show anyway, but I do like how some of these guys are just blatantly resealed. So while, unfortunately, I could only find one of the Turtles from this line, I can pretty much tell you what the rest of them would be like, since they're Mortal Kombat palette swap ninjas with the exact same mold. You know, I do love that Splinter apparently decided he'd wear his kimono poncho style for this photo. And here they are unleashed, the Karate Turtles Warriors! So as you probably gathered by me saying I almost thought there was nothing in the package when I got the Splinter, these guys are extremely lightweight, but especially the Splinter. So even though it certainly feels like Splinter at least could blow away in the wind, at least he's not so tall he can't stand under his own power. These guys are made from that kind of soft vinyl material, so even though they're extremely lightweight, they don't feel like they're gonna break. That is to say, most parts are made from that. Unfortunately, there are some parts made with just hollow plastic, and they kinda stick out a bit. And the reason the Splinter feels a lot lighter and cheaper is the majority of him is hollow plastic, but even thinner than any of the spots on the Turtles. And the only soft part on him is his head, go figure.
What are you talking about?
So there really is quite a difference because the hollow plastic parts on Leo feel a lot more solid than any of the parts on Splinter. And some credit will actually have to go to Splinter's tail for making him a lot easier to stand. These guys all come with the exact same weapon set, so to get two of the same weapon, like you see a lot of them holding on the back, you'd have to get two figures. I can't believe the bootleggers would pull something like that. I mean, those kinds of sneaky tricks to make you buy more shit are supposed to be reserved for the official distributors. And wait a second, Leonardo's shown holding two swords on the back. None of them come with those. I'm so sick of these bootlegs lying to me. There, extreme crisis averted. Well, none of the Karate Turtles warriors like this come with a sword. Apparently it's a trade-off. You can have no color in a sword or no kimono at all in a sword. Haha, no thanks. Personally, I think the colored kimonos is one of the neatest bits about this figure, so I'll just stick other swords in his hands, thanks. It also shows Splinter on the back holding a bow and arrow, which of course, again, none of them come with. The real Splinter did though, which is actually what I think they're showing on the back of this package. The lag wrappings on the actual Splinter were painted gray, and you'll notice that detail is missing on the Karate Turtles Warrior Splinter, but not on the back. And you'll also notice that Karate Turtle Splinter is a little bit smaller than the real Splinter. What a twist! It's almost like they copied over the real figure to make their mold! And another couple obvious paint details missing on the Karate Turtle Splinter are the teeth and the gray around the chest. And taking a closer look at Splinter's butt, you can see that one of them can actually poop while the other can't. And for a not completely stupid difference, we can notice that they changed the molding a little bit around the feet. And they also changed how the end of the tail looks. I guess so they wouldn't have to paint it? Not like it stopped them from being lazy before. The kimonos are very similar, though Karate Turtle Splinter I guess was a bit more chilly. And again, like the rest of them, the material is slightly thinner. Also, the fabric used for the Playmate Splinter is a lot softer than the Karate Turtle Splinter. One of the other changes on the Karate Turtles Splinter is the quite often lost wrist articulation. But Karate Turtles Splinter has something that the real Splinter is missing! A weak left arm. Yay! Now, for some reason, I'm just gonna throw out a random guess here, but I'll say because it was cheaper, they changed what Splinter's belt was made of. So it went from flexible plastic that fastens at the front to a thin material with a kind of faux leathery front that fastens at the back with Velcro. So while the Karate Turtle Splinter is mostly a copy of the real Splinter, there's at least a bit more going on with the Turtles figures in this line. Such as four-toed Ninja Turtles? No! So this is kind of the opposite of the new style Ninja Tortoise situation, as the artwork actually depicts them correctly. This is true of the hands as well. They gave them 4 digits there instead of 3. So the 4 Karate Turtles warriors all have the same basic mold, and the heads seem to be based on Donatello's. So while the original Ninja Turtles toys all came with brown plastic weapons, the Karate Turtles guys all come with silver weapons. And while there's certainly Ninja Turtle weapons that I certainly wish were in silver instead of brown, unfortunately all the ones that actually came with my Karate Turtles warriors are ones that are probably even better in brown than silver. Except the Ninja Star! Major victory! Yeah! And that's also the only one it seems like they kind of directly copied. Weird. And unfortunately, like Splinter, the Turtles are also missing wrist articulation. But hey, they're kind of making up for that with freaking gauntlets. The real Turtles don't have those. Or as I mentioned earlier, the fabulous kimonos, which again is freaking awesome. But let's find out what's underneath it. What? No! Yeah, we're taking your clothes off, Leo. Arrgh! Nakedness in a half shell! Flasher power! So even with the kimono off, these guys still look decent. They're not as cool, that's for sure, but they still get their belt insignia at least. With the right letter even. Their legs do look a little naked though without the knee pads. Also, I'm not quite sure why or how the bottom part of the front of his belt is just detached and kind of floating there. Also, the back of his shell could have probably used a bit more detailing, as in anything. Or maybe it's a hypnotism tool. Stare into my shell, you are under my power. Oh, it's so undetailed and lazy, whoa! But how did the transition from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to the Karate Turtles Warriors happen? Well, let's find out. Sensei, on our 20th birthdays, we have all finally mastered the art of ninjutsu! This is very good, my sons, but I just realized that I made a huge mistake teaching you ninjutsu. What?
Yes, the skill of a ninja is a lost art. I'm gonna teach you all karate.
Well, Splinter, I guess if that's what you think's best, dude.
Yes, but I'm only gonna teach it to Leonardo. The rest of you are fired.
What?
I made another funny.
It's alright, dudes. He was just joking.
No, Michelangelo, I was serious. I just thought it was funny. Besides, Leonardo's the only one I have a gi for. Damn! You know, that's really getting old, Raphael.
Right.
So is that. You're making anti-funnies! Ha 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 ha! This is stupid. Oh, very good, my son. You are now a karate turtle warrior!
But you haven't taught me anything yet, Sensei. All I did was put on this kimono.
Exactly. I don't know karate, so you've mastered everything I have to teach you in that field. Oh ha ha! I made another funny! Oh ha 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 ha! Splinter!
Hi guys, check out my Patreon for early mid-roll free episodes, meaning no ads will play in the middle, and other perks. Well, this is kinda strange for the same line, but I really gotta separate the Splinter and Turtles figures on a lot of these categories. The Splinter is just ridiculously lightweight and feels like you could throw him in the air and never see him again. Feels like it anyway. It's not a terrible figure, but feels really cheap compared to the real one. It's a 4 for him. Now as for the Turtles, they feel a lot more solid and the soft vinyl parts are really nice, and the kimono is a strong fabric that doesn't feel like it would rip or anything. The main negative points for them are those plastic seams on the legs and that little non-shell detail, but hey, why would you be seeing that anyway when they've got those stylin' robes? 8. Splinter's just a cheapy remold with nothing really that different done besides a faux leather belt. Whoa! 1. The Turtles, on the other hand, are awesome. I seriously love these guys with the kimonos. Playmates only did a Michelangelo figure that's sort of similar in the Smash 'em Bash 'em line, but I gotta say, I dig the Karate Turtles Warriors way more. And hey, maybe I'm just really being sucked in by a robe, but I think they look really cool. Also, this line has some variants and even made giant versions of the Turtles, which, while the Turtles are copies of the Playmates giant Turtles, they also made a giant Splinter, which Playmates never did. They also apparently made a talking version, which I would absolutely love to see if actually works if I can get a hold of one at some point. So it's a solid 8 for all the neat stuff here. I wouldn't call this line extremely weird, but the name is cool, and I do like the idea of the Turtles switching to karate for some reason. 4. Like I just said, the Karate Turtles Warriors name is cool, and I love the artwork on here. They actually really put some effort on drawing their karate versions of the Turtles in the cartoon style and even did 2 different poses for them. 10. The Splinter again isn't overly terrible, but its hollow nature is kind of a detractor. You could do a lot worse. I'd say it kind of averages out for a 5. The Karate Turtles are again great. They'd fit right in as a variant in the Ninja Turtles line. The weapon assortment is kinda strange though, and it's a bit of a disappointment in Leo and Raph's case. Cause even though being shown on the back, there are no swords that came with Leonardo. At least for the version I got, but it's still kind of annoying. And despite the artwork depicting Raph with his sai, apparently he gets Tonfa instead. I don't know why. Still high marks though, 8. And the bootleg zones overall is 9, mostly for the Turtles. They are cool looking figures with a nice spin put on them by the bootleggers. It's actually nice to see something done to change the Turtles up while not becoming Satan's spawn. If you come across one and actually want a decent looking bootleg, pick it up.
I don't know karate, so you've mastered everything I have to teach you in that field. Oh ha ha! I made another funny! Oh Splinter! What?